September 1st, 1939. At exactly 4:45 in the morning, Central European time, without any formal declaration of war, Nazi Germany launches Fall Weiss, the invasion of Poland. 1,500,000 German soldiers, supported by 2,000 tanks and over 1,900 aircraft, cross the border at 27 separate points from East Prussia in the north to the Slovakian frontier in the south. The first shots are fired 5 minutes earlier at 4:40 a.m. when the obsolete German battleship Schleswig-Holstein, anchored in Danzig harbor under the pretext of a courtesy visit, opens fire on the Polish military transit depot at Westerplatte. 360 280mm shells rain down in the first barrage alone. The Polish garrison of just 220 men, armed with one 75mm field gun, 4 37mm anti-tank guns, and a handful of machine guns, returns fire and holds out for 7 full days. By 5:02 a.m., the Luftwaffe is already in the air. 300 Ju-87 Stuka dive bombers and waves of Heinkel and Dornier level bombers strike Polish airfields at Krakow, Katowice, Grodno, and a dozen other bases. Over 400 Polish aircraft are destroyed in the first 48 hours, most of them still on the ground. Polish fighters manage to get airborne in small numbers, but the disparity is overwhelming. At 5:40 a.m., the small town of Wieluń, 30 kilometers from the border and containing no military targets whatsoever, is almost completely obliterated in a deliberate terror raid. 3 waves of Stukas drop 29 tons of high explosive and incendiary bombs. Over 1,200 civilians are killed in the first hours, many still asleep in their beds. 75% of the town is reduced to rubble. This is one of the first documented instances of what will later be called strategic terror bombing. On the ground, the German Fourth Army under General Günther von Kluge advances from Pomerania, the 8th Army under General Johannes Blaskowitz from East Prussia, the 10th Army under General Walter von Reichenau from Silesia, the strongest force with 2 panzer and 2 light divisions, and the 14th Army under General Wilhelm List from recently annexed Slovakia. The spearhead is Guderian's 19th Panzer Corps, with the 2nd and 20th Motorized Divisions and the 3rd Panzer Division. The Polish Plan Zachód, is already fatally compromised. Marshal Edward Riedz-Schmigwy had delayed full mobilization until the previous evening to avoid giving Hitler a pretext. As a result, only about half of Poland's 1 million men are under arms when the attack begins. Polish cavalry brigades, contrary to popular myth, do not charge tanks with sabers on this day, but they are thrown into battle with completely inadequate anti-tank weapons. At 10 a.m., Adolf Hitler appears before the Reichstag in Berlin, wearing a field grey uniform for the first time. He announces that German troops have been returning fire since 5:45 a.m. in response to alleged Polish attacks on German soil. These attacks, including the fabricated Gleiwitz incident staged the previous night by SS men in Polish uniforms, are presented as justification. In London, Prime Minister Neville Chamberlain receives the news with disbelief. Britain and France had signed mutual assistance pacts with Poland in March and August. At 9 a.m., British time, the British cabinet meets. Lord Halifax, the Foreign Secretary, drafts an ultimatum demanding immediate German withdrawal. The French government does the same. Both ultimatums are delivered in Berlin that evening, but neither contains a specific deadline. In Warsaw, President Ignacy Mościcki broadcasts to the nation at noon. He declares that Poland will fight. Air raid sirens sound for the first time at 6 a.m., and by evening, blackouts are in force across the country. By nightfall on September 1st, German spearheads have penetrated up to 25 kilometers into Polish territory in several sectors. The Polish Pomeranian Army, is already being encircled near the Baltic coast. The border defenses, many of them unfinished concrete bunkers, are being outflanked and overrun. What very few people realize on this first day is how close the invasion came to being launched a full week earlier. The original attack date was August 26th. At the last minute, after Mussolini informed Hitler that Italy would not honor the Pact of Steel, and after Britain ratified its guarantee to Poland, Hitler cancelled the order. German troops who had already begun moving to jumping-off points were recalled. A handwritten note on the final invasion directive, declassified decades later, still shows the original date crossed out in pencil and 1st September written beside it. In the next 24 hours, the last diplomatic efforts will collapse, and on September 3rd, Britain and France will finally declare war. But on this day, September 1st, 1939, the world crosses the point of no return. Over the next 6 years, more than 70 million human beings will die because of what began in the darkness before dawn on this Friday morning. Tomorrow, September 2nd, 1939. The Blitzkrieg accelerates, Britain and France hesitate, and the first war crimes are committed. Hit the like button if you want every single day of the war delivered exactly like this. The world has crossed the point of no return. Don't miss a single day of the conflict that changed history. Subscribe to World War II Daily Briefing and hit the bell so you are ready for tomorrow's report. The war is just beginning.